Hi, thank you for taking a minute. I've got a wonderful group of people here that share a passion of mine, and that is vintage clothing. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hi, my name's Frank. I'm the drummer in the band. I was a Sharpie back in the 60s in Sunshine when I was 15.
And now, what did typically they wear in the 60s?
Well, back then, most of our clothes were off the rack. My first Sharpie wardrobe actually came off the rack in my dad's wardrobe.
Okay, yep.
I grabbed a checkered shirt and his wide pinstripe trousers, and then all I needed to complete that was a crest knit cardigan and some chisel toe shoes.
Yep, so the cardigans were really, they really mark the definite look, don't they? And were the clothes always tight?
No, not back then. It was just a standard crest knit cardigan, plain colour, just with a knitted cable in it. And they were just the same, cardigans of the time.
The pants were called flags back then.
They were flags, yeah.
Okay.
And they were quite, yeah.
And my name is Tone. I'm the guitarist in City Sharps, and it all started when I went to school. I went to a school, Jordanville Tech, and that's where all this fashion and madness come from.
That was definitely an influence at school.
Yes, yes, that's where it started for me. It was all at school, and the music
So more
revolved
70s?
around it.
The
Yes,
mid-70s.
70s.
Hey, I'm Shane. I'm the singer of City Sharps. I started being a Sharpie about 1972. Left home when I was 14. Started knocking around with Gang, West Road. Then joined the Melbourne Sharps in the city. Then from there I went to Faulkner and knocked around with Anderson Road. Then joined up with A&A and Glenroy. I was with that gang for quite a few years. Then I started my own gang, Oak Park Boot Boys. Got a little bit fed up with all the aggro and everything that was going on, so I decided to get out and get into music. Formed one of Melbourne's first punk bands, La Femme. We were the first on Countdown punk band. Had a bit of success with that. Got out of music, did a few other things, and ran to Sam, who was mentioning he was putting together a Sharpie exhibition.
Yep.
And so we decided to add a bit of music to it, and we formed this group, and everything's been beautiful since.
And I hear there's a young following too. These young kids that are taking up the fashion.
Well, when we first started playing, it was mostly all the old Sharps would come out and celebrate the whole thing. But,
So there's a few still going.
a lot of old
Yeah.
Sharps come to every show.
Wow.
But,
And do they dress in the fashion? Are
Yes.
they?
Well, since Domo's brought out the revived Connie,
Yeah,
they have
which
been
we'll
wearing
get
them.
to.
a lot of the younger people are starting to pick up on that too now. And basically, either they like the fashion or the retro thing of the Sharp thing, or they like the culture or they like the music.
So what
we try to
defined
mix it all
your
together.
era that would you say?
Well, there was the late 60s Sharps, early 70s Sharps, and then mid 70s Sharps. I would have been the early 70s Sharps. That would have been my era.
So what was your uniform?
My uniform used to be pinstripes, black
The very
crest net.
tight, high pinstripes?
Started out, they were a bit baggy, but very tight around the waist.
Yeah.
Black crest knit and black Connie with a white stripe or something.
Yeah.
Then it went to just jeans. Used to be all chisel toe shoes too.
Yes,
They
they're very
used
bulky. Show me your shoes,
the big
guys.
black
Can we
suede
see some
chisel toe.
feet? Some amazing shoes. Yeah.
Mine were more like
Frank's.
Frank's ones
Frank's,
over there,
yeah.
with the chisel toe. Then when I was on the Glenroy line, it kind of became just Lee or Levi drain pipes, runners.
Yep.
I wear these Aussie ones because there were a few Aussies in the gangs too.
Yeah.
It was very mixed of races. We were not like the English skinheads. We were not racist or
Yeah.
political.
Yeah. And Sam?
I'm Sam. I'm the bass player from City Sharps. I also grew up, as my brother, Tony, in Jordanville. We went to Jordanville Tech, which was a breeding ground for Sharpies
Okay.
within that area. So that's, I grew up in Jordanville in my teens was about 73 to 77. So I was probably early to mid Sharpies. And getting through that era, I was into music then, like in the school bands, and we did a lot of school socials back then, which was very significant around the Sharpie area, because that's when Aussie music was really making waves.
Yeah, starting to kick
and
in.
you know, you'd be associating with bands like AC/DC, Skyhawks, Hush, and all that type
Well,
of
Hush,
music.
yeah, was sort of borderline, weren't they, between the glam and
Well, the Sharpie era had a glam flavour
Elements,
to it,
yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. That was the soundtrack to the 70s. Sharps was glam music.
And it's amazing too, you look back and, you know, what bands were doing and what people were appearing in, and particularly men, it was outrageous, you know, it was so much, you know.
Well, the thing
so
about
much
being a
edgy.
sharp kind of stood out. You stood up. So the music thing just grabbed onto it perfectly.
Yeah.
Like any culture, music's always a big part of it.
Yeah.
And definitely the Sharpies fed off music. And back then it was all local, which was fantastic. So in all that, during the 70s period, the Sharpie movement was quite large.
It was.
And it wasn't just a hardcore, it sort of got into the masses, and it was in the tens of thousands of Sharpie gangs and Sharpie related kids in the 70s. But that all demised or all finished towards the early 80s.
Yeah, it all shifted,
It just disappeared. And that was it. We got locked up in the closet, no one went back. So in 2006, I put together an exhibition called Skins and Sharps.
Yes.
And, you know, growing up through that era, you know, it was a significant time and very unique to Melbourne, this social history that we had in Melbourne. And I put this exhibition together. I took a punt, and on the opening day, we just went crazy. It was just a full house, and it went for about
brilliant.
3 weeks.
Yep.
And since then, it's grown, and like we were hitting on before, there is a regeneration of Sharpies today because of now of all the stuff that's out there related to this, you know, the great Melbourne rebel, the Sharp.
Yeah.
It's actually fitting back onto the antisocial thing of Sharps, because Sharps, like punks, mods, hippies, have all been capitalised and rehashed out to the public.
They have.
Because people make money out of it. Sharps were rebellious. They were punks before punks.
Yes.
Right? Living the same lifestyle. And it's perfect for today, because if you don't want to be conformist and you don't want to fit in a box, Sharp is perfect for you, because you can be yourself. We're a bunch of individuals in gangs.
Yeah.
You know?
True. Now, someone I know who's very important to part of this is Damo, and you're the perfect model, may I say.
Yeah, thank you.
Love your hair. And so you're largely responsible for this Connie fashion. Can you tell us what it is? And
Yeah, I grew up in the 80s. I was never a Sharpie, but I like to wear those East Coast jeans and the
East
tops.
Coast, yeah.
Fabergés.
Yes.
Looking good was
Yeah.
a key. 'cause
Well, we
all
thought
like
it
to
was
stand
good
out.
then, but upon reflection, it's
That's
not.
an old name.
Yeah.
Does anyone remember the choice jackets? Those sort
I-
of patchy.
I found one last week. I got a few of them.
I would love to see one of
Jack
those, but
packs.
that's another show.
Yeah.
It turned into a bag anyway. Yep.
I said to myself a few years ago, I said, the clothes these days, I don't want to buy anything anymore. It's just garbage, only lasts for one season. So I started to find some Fabergés in some op shops and come across some overalls. I held them up. and
Yeah, they were good, weren't they? The bib and brace, they were very strong.
They were in this op shop for a long time, 3-4 months. I said to myself, geez, this denim feels great. So I held them up, and they were Dache overalls.
Oh, okay.
And I said to myself, wow. And a lady walked past me, and she said to me, oh, you want to grab them? They're a Sharpie overall.
Yeah.
I've gone, oh, the gangs, okay. So I bought that, and one thing led to another. I started hunting these clothing down, because I realised that we made some really good clothes in the 70s, top quality.
Yeah, absolutely.
And fast forward to what I'm doing now, because you can't really find the cardigans anymore. You just got to be so lucky.
Well, they're very collectible now. They're worth quite a lot of money.
And that was quite a few years ago. So probably either collected already, worn to death.
Yeah,
Just
I think.
turfed out.
Yeah, it's sort of
And I said to myself, it was a crazy idea. I said, why don't I try and get someone to make them for me? So I searched. I reckon 10 to 15 knitwear companies. They all said, nah, too fiddly, too this, too that.
Yeah.
And I come across one, it was my last resort. And they said, yeah, we'll make you whatever you want.
Oh, brilliant.
It's been a work in progress. It's been a struggle. Nearly, I gave up a couple of times. It's just too much hassle with knitwear company.
It
couldn't
does
fit
take
it in
persistence. You need to really work on the relationships and also to have the clear vision and having such a specific shape. Did they understand what you were after?
Yeah, that's what you're wearing there now.
I
It's
am wearing
brand
it
new.
and I'm making sure it's the right length.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not coming down
I had
to
to
the
get
wrist.
them adjusted. The
Yeah.
first batch weren't.
So they were long.
Sleeves were too long.
Yeah,
Or
and they
too
have to be
baggy
very
here and
tight.
there. They have to be tight all around, but there's a catch to it. People's bodies now have changed. Not everyone's slim and whatever. But also back in the 70s, I used to get them tailored up.
Okay.
We're
So
now-
you'd actually get the cardigan and alter it.
Well, what they used to do is they used to go into the shop the week before. You would order your cardigan. You would say how many stripes, what colours, any ribbing, all that
Oh, you're
stuff.
kidding.
Yeah.
So you'd
Oh,
actually...
Yeah, you
Order
decide,
a
then you go back a
specific-
week later and pick it up.
Yep.
Now,
Wow, that's incredible.
You can't do that now. I mean, for $35, that was ridiculous to get
Yeah.
clothes tailor-made like that.
Yeah.
So now we've got to make them off the rack, but it was a certain style, a really tight fit, very sharp-looking fit.
'Cause,
And this was designed for like people between 14 and 18.
So very slender
Yeah.
and
That's
beautiful.
right.
So all
Yeah.
the cardigans were very individual, because everyone that went in and ordered a cardigan
I didn't
would
know
be
that.
So when you look at Connie's, you never find one the same.
Wow,
They
I
all
didn't
vary.
know that.
And the main manufacturer was F&L Conti. They're an Italian family who brought all their traditions from Europe and manufactured the cardigans. And here in Melbourne, we nicknamed them Connies.
Yeah, the Connie jumper.
So
it's
that's how that name
Connie
came
cardigan.
about.
Cardigans.
So the Connie cardigans.
They didn't make many jumpers. They always make
So,
Okay, yeah,
so
sorry.
they were really a high quality knit. If you had to get something reproduced like that today, it cost you like $400 or $500.
and on that note, it's all local.
Yeah, made here in Melbourne.
Yep. So
Well,
the
the ones
wool,
that Damo's doing now, they're all local. But what happened is
Good
in
merino
the
wool.
70s,
merino wool. Yep.
as the Sharpie movement got really big, a lot of the knitwear companies got on the bandwagon, and there was a lot of generic type
Like, Goodman.
cardigans that were made, and they were basically off the shelf. So you would have a series of style of cardigans that were repetitive in design.
So you get your expensive Connie, or you could get a cheaper Sam's, or you could go to a store and get a Goodman's, you know. Which
Yeah,
is
so,
a
so,
major brand.
there was probably about, how many, maybe 10, 15, 20 different brands in
Yeah,
here. But the
there's-
originals were Conti, and then Sam's. But not just the cardigans, also the shoes were tailor-made.
Now let's have a look at some shoes.
Because the shoes, you had Venus shoes, which were the original chisel toes, and they were in Richmond. And you would go there, you would pick your suede and design and Cuban heel, and they would make the shoe custom to your foot. And then you had Acropolis, who were in Abbotsford, and they also did chisel toes, but they weren't as good as Venus, but they did a really nice platform,
Right,
which is
okay.
the other one
Which
sitting
is like
there.
the grey one there. Yeah.
So and then as part of the package, right? Yeah. No, they're not Acropolis. The other brown ones. They're the Venus.
Venus.
These
the
are
other one's
Venus,
the brown-
which has got more of a
round
chisel
toe.
toe.
So
The
they're
round toe.
and that's the Acropolis.
This is the Acropolis
So
one.
that is Venus.
So these are my original shoes, and I had them made up back then in 74, 75.
Wow. And the stitching is just beautiful, isn't it? And the finish, and it's all leather.
Yeah, all leather, all high quality Italian made shoe.
Wow.
Oh, actually, they were Greek.
Were they?
Both
Yeah.
of them were Greek shoemakers. But then off the shelf, you had Staggers, which was Saba, Joseph Saba,
Saba,
and and that was the pants we would wear along with the Lee and the Levi's. But Staggers in the mid 70s were big. You know, the big bell bottoms, the big flares.
It was very prestigious. I remember the commercials as well. They were a very strong brand.
Oh, they were fantastic. And Joseph Saba sold hundreds of thousands of those Staggers, not just for the Sharpie scene, but just generally.
It was a great fashion label.
So
of its
Saba
time.
played a big part in that whole Sharpie fashion, and also the Chris Nets, You had the Miller shirts.
Yeah,
You had
yeah.
the lumber jackets
Yeah.
like Tony's wearing over
Yes,
here.
step forward. Come on, Tony. Where did you find that one from? That is
This is
brilliant.
school days.
Turn around.
So
Still fits him.
That
Yeah.
is quintessential.
So
For
you
school
had the
bag,
lumber
eh?
jackets,
You get
and
confused.
you'd wear your Connies
And again,
underneath,
nice and
then
short.
underneath your Connie, if it wasn't your gang-related t-shirt, it would be a Chris Net top.
Very much, haven't I?
And of course you had your platforms too, and chisel toes. And the girls used to wear the corks and the treads. So it was all part of the mix. Again, there's like male and females did wear the treads.
Yeah. And they were called treads because they were actually made from
Ties.
ties,
Ties,
weren't they? It was an
yes,
actual
yes.
tie.
So these
tread.
ones are actual original old stock, and it says actually treads on
Treads
the
on
back.
the back.
Oh,
yeah.
that is
So-
brilliant.
Original recycling, isn't it?
But
Yeah, back
They-
in the day. Yeah.
They will never break down.
No,
Yeah.
that's right.
Never get a
But
fade.
when
They
they
go
got,
1,000 miles out
really
there.
popular, because it wasn't just the Sharpies that wore them, it was also the Surfies, and
that's
just
true.
generally young youth. So there was a lot of generic manufacturers that made them in backyards, and there was a lot of treads made out there too. And then you had the cork shoes that the
wedges.
females, yeah.
For some strange reason, on the Broady line, no one wore treads, but they did wear moccasins.
Yes.
As day shoes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. I
yes.
hated that. I used to wear
I used to love the
DMs.
Mockies.
Really? So what about the kangaroo skin ones? They meant you were a little bit more
Oh,
sophisticated.
boots.
You were
Yeah.
somewhere.
No,
you
no.
were somewhere
I had a
else
pair of
if you
them
wore
at home.
those.
Yeah, I had them at
Just
home.
Do you know what I mean?
They're more
were-
the Italian
yes,
thing at
it's
home.
more the sophisticated.
The Italian
crew.
slipper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd wear them around the house, but I wouldn't go out the door with them.
Yeah, and I love that you guys have these t-shirts because that was the only way
Well,
to
the-
customise anything. Was
Well, the
just to-
t-shirts are based on the original t-shirts that we did in the 70s, which was the flock lettering,
Yes.
which were the iron-ons, and we came up with the idea. We said, well,
Every gang would have their name like this on the back.
yeah,
On the
so
back.
as a band, a lot of bands have t-shirts. We thought, well, when we do old school like they did in the old
Yeah.
days, like Lobby Lloyd did, and
Yes.
Skyhawks, when fans would go out there, they would make up
Oh,
these t-shirts because we didn't have access to all that sort of stuff back in the 70s.
Well, we were brought up into that because really, back in those days, bands used to do schools.
Okay.
Every lunchtime there'd be a band
Oh, yeah.
on at your school, like
Really?
Lobby
Social
Lloyd,
scene
ACDC,
was really
Skyhawks,
big.
they all came and played at my school.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
and that's when I was in the band in the 70s. We did all those,
Yeah.
all that.
There was the
incredible.
nighttime circuit, but there was also the daytime.
Yeah,
We used to
lunchtime.
play
That's
all the
incredible.
schools. So the kids at school would see a top band play, So they were right up with fashion and they were right up with the music. It was a very
Incredible.
And you'd have
important
bands like ACDC playing
Yeah, yeah.
Heidelberg and Footscray and all sorts of schools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I suppose at that age too, it's a very definitive stage of your life, and you want to attach to different things, and you think, I want that look, or I want that hair, or
Yeah.
all that.
Well, I
sort of
remember
thing.
about 72 thinking, I might get into this Sharpie thing. And by 75, I think basically every second kid I knew was a Sharp. There was that many. And if you weren't in a gang, you knew someone in a gang.
Well-
or you were being chased by them.
Yeah. Well, you had the weekend sharp. You had the hardcore
Yes,
that
you
were
did, yeah.
that were really hard sharps, and then you had kids that would venture out in the Sharpie world, but wouldn't be so hard.
They got a bad name with the aggro, but like with any juvenile cult or youth cult, you've got music, you've got fashion, you've got sex, and you've got violence.
You missed one thing.
Other booze.
No,
Oh, what?
the Sharpies had an iconic dance.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Well,
It was something special to
It's
see.
not the most feminine or elegant dance. I don't think it's really to
It's
attract
physical.
a partner.
And the
for
idea
woman.
of it, the idea of it was
I want a woman who dances like that. Wasn't there a bit of this one?
Yes.
Okay, so you hold that on you guys. Kind of, yeah.
Okay. Well, you start with that, right?
Yeah.
And you get this thing going as well. So what you do is you do it like up step, like you're looking at your girl. Yeah, like that. Right?
Like that.
Yeah. And then you make your arms free.
Like that. Is that it? Something like that?
Just feel the music with your legs. Yeah, well then once you get your legs going, right?
Yeah.
Then you get your hands going, right? You do this.
Can we do it for
But most of the guys will be standing like that.
to be a bit of a wiggle backwards thing, kind of
Yeah.
going in and out.
Yeah.
Sam's not going. Oh, that's it.
Or what you're doing is you can switch your legs and do a little bit of this.
Wow.
Then you got some of this.
Oh, that's very good.
Then you got some of this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's all do that.
You don't dance? Thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, so all in all, with this whole Sharpie movement and culture, where is it today? Well,
Change me, did you?
I'm trying to talk.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So, now can you start it again now? Now,
That was good. The attitude was good.
We'll rub him out.